Hello boxing fans, just right now doing a expose the horseshit video, and this is just based on Dereck Chisora and the WBC. And if you don't already know, the WBC have just banned Dereck Chisora indefinitely from fighting for one of their titles. Now let me first of all point something out to you. That's only the WBC. So that's like going and having a huge scrap in a kebab shop, and then them saying to you afterwards, no, you don't come back here, you don't come back here. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because it's the IBO, the IBF, WBA, WBO, etc, etc, all these little belts that you can still fight for. Now for me, if you want to know when the whole thing went to shit, was when the security forces didn't stop Dereck Chisora from getting off that table. The moment Dereck Chisora stood up and he was getting off that table, that was when the whole thing went to shit. It didn't matter what happened next, the whole thing went to shit. And I seen a funny video last night of David Hay, and he was saying, I did have a glass bottle in my hand, but I punched him with it in my hand. And he went, it doesn't matter what was in my hand at the time. It could have been a hot dog, it could have been my mobile phone, whatever it was, I would have punched him with that in my hand at the time. So I can only say, David probably did defend himself, and I'm not too bothered about that really. And he actually kicked ass in there. Got some brilliant photos of that guy just whooping Don Charles' ass, whooping Dereck Chisora's ass. I don't know why Dereck Chisora wants to fight him, because he just got his ass kicked by David Hay. So I just want to move back into this WBC bullshit. In the statement that the WBC have let out, they said Dereck Chisora's behaviour was amongst the worst ever by a professional boxer, and the ban would not be reconsidered until Chisora had undergone anger management classes. I've just got like one question for the WBC, and that is, where were they when Hasim Rahman and Lennox Lewis got into a scrap on TV? Where were they then? Or where were they when Mike Tyson got into his most infamous scrap with Lennox Lewis, when he attacked Lennox Lewis's team and then afterwards shouted a load of homosexual jeers to the crowd? Where were the WBC then? Because they were fighting for the WBC belt. In fact, one of the only big differences between the two things was that there was actually a quick security team getting in the way to try and break it up. The best one, on a defenseless Larry Donald, Riddick Bowe decides, I'm going to land a 1-2 combination without any gloves on this guy's chin in front of the whole press. So he does that, and then the securities just break them up, right? And what happens to them? They were fighting for a WBC Continental title, but they didn't get banned. Neither of them got banned for it. Okay, I've got another one. Eric Morales versus Marco Antonio Barrera in the weigh-in. After the weigh-in, in the face-up, and Barrera punches Thingo in the face. Not slaps him like Dereck Chisora slapped Vitali. Slap, no. Real hard punches, and then they're throwing punches at each other, and all hell's breaking loose. Security trying to break him up. It happens all the time. In fact, that's worse than the other one. There's only one place where I really think that Dereck Chisora overcrossed the line totally, and that was when he was in the ring and he spat in Wladimir's face. And I think that was the only point where I can say I'll never respect him again, just for that. You don't spit in people's faces. That's the only thing that you can never do at all. And lastly, just my last point. When people have said, why couldn't you just be cool like the Klitschko's and not do anything? Like what? You get slapped in the face and they stand there smiling. That you didn't look cool then. You looked silly, mate. And then even worse when he spat in Wladimir's face and Wladimir was just smiling, like licking it up. That was just stupid. You don't look cool, mate. None of you look cool at that point. You just looked a joke. He'd like totally mugged you off in front of the world, and you didn't do nothing about it. In fact, I think that was more of a sign of weakness than of strength, in my opinion.